right, so go ahead. What were you saying? We start now.
So I was saying I was talking to my girlfriend about looking at dating profiles of guys on Tinder and reasons why she will say no, he wouldn't be a good match. And the way I see it is I think she's being too selective. So she'll say no for reasons that just don't seem like a top priority to me of like what should be a deal breaker.
Right. Yeah, well, and sometimes women they'll say, oh, I don't want to see this guy because, say, he's on Tinder and he has a picture of himself doing something she doesn't like, or he has
his shirt off,
right.
So he must be narcissistic.
Yeah, all
that.
Or
that's a picture of him with two women. He
right.
must be a womanizer. Like
all that nonsense. Yes.
Right. So interpreting, like going through profiles and being like, no. And I think she's losing out.
You think?
On opportunities.
Of course she's losing out. Because look, this is the thing that women don't understand, right? This is what women will say. They'll say, I'm trying to look for the perfect guy, or not even necessarily perfect, but I'm trying to date seriously. I'm not just trying to casually date. I want to date seriously. I want to find the boyfriend. I want to find the guy. I want to find the one and all this other stuff. And what they don't realize is usually finding that person or getting with that type of person is an accumulation of little moments, situations, instances that sort of cultivate itself into you even being in that situation in the first place. You understand? So it's not this thing where you're going to the store shopping for a man. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
it doesn't work that way. Because let's say for example, you meet this guy. He looks exactly the type of guy he's your
right,
type
good
physically.
on paper.
Good on paper. He looks good. He's a nice guy. Everything's fine. Everything's cool, right?
Yeah.
You're like, this guy is the perfect motherfucking guy, right? Next thing you know, he don't like you. Now what?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Then you're heartbroken. You're damn, I should have been more selective.
Exactly.
What I think that a lot of people forget is that dating, the game we play of dating, it involves, like you were saying, different interactions
right.
and such. But the thing is, we have a view of it that, oh, not meeting the right person means I'm wasting my time, or it means like wasting my time. Like that's basically what everybody's afraid of, either wasting my time or being in situations that are unfavorable.
Right.
But the truth is, all of these interactions allow you to learn more about yourself.
Right.
In dating.
And then the more you learn about yourself is the more you can be who you are. So then you can begin to attract who you really, really want.
Right.
And a lot of times people in general, but more importantly, I think a female in this particular conversation, being that, you deal with emotions and this and that, they do the nitpicking because their emotions are telling them these things.
Right.
And it's not even, and sometimes women have emotions that are, I think that are valid. And you should pay attention sometimes. Sometimes the female intuition is correct and it's something that you should pay attention to. And I get that. Right. But sometimes you have these superficial emotions or these superficial things that will cause the chick to look at, oh well, he has hazel eyes, so therefore, he's gonna break my heart or something.
Right,
and it's like, no. If you really want to date and you really want to find someone, it's basically like this. Anything you really want in life, you have to do some work to get it.
Right.
But it's up to you to embrace the journey and be willing and be fearless enough to go on that journey.
Right. Real shit. What was he gonna say? You look like you have something to say.
I'm just thinking that women are so hesitant to get hurt or meet someone who isn't a good connection. Because there's so many out there that aren't going to be a good match.
Right.
And it's hard. It's really hard to have to go through that process of like, I'm meeting someone, he's not really ideal for whatever reason, and then we have to deal with that.
Well, this is the problem with women in dating. Women are trying to, they're trying to find the perfect situation and then go on the date. You understand what I'm saying? Which doesn't work because the perfect situation happens through the interaction.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to know if you click with someone until you're on the date talking to the person. You're not going to know if you're actually going to be attracted to that guy unless you are in the situation with him.
Well, sometimes you know.
What do you mean? Like what?
Like, sometimes you're like, yeah, I looked at 6 pictures of this guy. There's no way I would be attracted to him.
No, of course, there's going to be some guys you're not, just off the bat, you're just not attracted to him. But what I'm saying is that what women will generally look for, like, or they'll tell themselves a story about someone who they don't even really know yet. And they're like, well, it's just not going to
he's a
work.
womanizer.
He's this, he's that. He probably does this, he probably does that. And you don't have no idea. So what are you wasting your time? That's the waste of time. You know what I'm saying?
But it's self-defense.
Self-defense from what?
So what you're saying about, like, intuition and, you know, following the way you feel about stuff, I think it's good for women to identify, why am I doing this? Why am I saying, oh, I don't like, we wouldn't be a good match because I don't like the way he, you know, like that kind of outfit he's wearing, or I don't like that place he's in. And I think for us, we need to take a minute to be like, why am I doing this? Is it a reason that should make me say we wouldn't be a good match? Or is it a self-defense? I've been hurt by somebody else who this guy reminds me of. Or I, you know, like something that isn't a valid reason.
Yeah.
And, like, just be aware of those.
Right.
And then the other thing, and this is what I'm trying to, like, help my girlfriend see, is it's good to know what you want in dating, but it's also good to make it reasonable. So, like, for me, I have certain priorities in like, things that I look for in a good date, and I do stick to that as much as I can.
Right.
And sometimes I'll be like, okay, maybe I can veer off a little bit, but in general I have, like, a few top things that I look for, and I'm usually right. You know, like, if a guy doesn't have those top things, generally it's just not a good match.
Yeah.
But also just, like, being comfortable with the idea that you're not going to be a good match with everybody, but you can still meet people and you can still get out there,
Right.
and it's not a waste of your time, because everything you do, like you guys were saying before, helps you know yourself better and helps you know dating and helps you just get more comfortable with the process.
Yeah.
You know how they say when you're doing job interviews, like, go on the interviews. Like, even if you're pretty sure you don't want that position,
Right.
just put yourself through that job, like, interview process.
Yeah.
And it can help you for when you get to that one where you're like, oh, damn, yeah, this one's really a good match for me.
No, I agree. But also, too, I think what women have to understand is you got to get out of this, like, idealistic point of view when it comes to relationships, because what I notice is, like I said, it's like they're trying to go to the man store. They're like, well, I'm going out picking and choosing. You know, I'm looking for the perfect prototype. I'm looking for a tailor-made man for me, or whatever. And the thing is that certain behaviors that men display generally are going to be counter to what they're looking for in a
women
man.
are looking for,
Yes. So what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, I hear women say, well, I'm not looking to date casually. I want something serious, right? Most guys are not dating and having the mindset of looking for something serious when they first date you.
Yeah.
because in a man's mind, I can't get serious with you, or I don't see you as serious until I've spent a significant amount of time with you and had a significant amount of sex with you.
And we've talked about that before. For a man, a woman just has to be doable.
Right.
But for a woman, generally, like, to have sex with a guy, she has to see some potential in the relationship and in the connection. And it's just different approaches, men and women.
But all I'm saying is that for a woman to try to have I just want some serious relationship thing, either you're looking at it in the way where you're expecting a serious relationship quickly, or you're expecting some dude to, like, sort of in a way commit to you quickly. And it's just like,
yeah.
Right.
Because women would do that for a man.
What? Commit to them quickly?
Yeah, more likely.
But that's what I'm saying, and men generally aren't like that. This is why.
And just know that we have that difference. I think that's like the main trick is to understand men and women are different. And I'm generalizing, but in general, men and women have different ways we look at relationships and look at connecting through dating. And if you better understand the other perspective, it makes it easier for you, from your perspective, to get what you want.
Right. But this is the reason why a lot of women get hurt, is because what happens is they're putting too much like energy into that one guy they want to reciprocate the same interest they have. Right. So what I mean is that you'll have a woman who she'll let's say she's dating like 3 guys, and one of the guys she really, really likes, the other 2 are kind of like, whatever, she's not really that into them or whatever.
Yeah,
so
that happens a lot.
Right, so the guy she really likes, she expects him
to really
like her back. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so sometimes
or hopes. I don't know.
Right.
If she expects it.
No. This is why I'm saying she expects it. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying she expects it is because her original premise was, I'm looking for a serious thing. I'm not trying to date casually. And so she has, even on a subconscious level within her own mind, has designated and expected this guy to be that guy because he's the one she wants.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So since he's the one she wants, because look at it this way. If you've been going around, dating around, and then you finally find a guy that you really like. God damn. Right? You see what I'm saying? And because you like him, you want that thing you want from him.
With him.
Right. But again, men are not just inanimate objects that you say, oh, that's the one, I'm just going to take him. I'll take that one. I'll take 2 of those. Right. It's not that. He also has to reciprocate and like you in that way. And that guy that you think is the awesome boyfriend material guy you've been looking for, he may just see you as a fuck buddy. You see what I'm saying? So then now what?
A lot of women will just break up with him.
No, but this is my point. My point is, though.
Sad.
Right, but this is my point. My point is, though, is that that's the reason why they'll get hurt, because they'll put so much stock and energy into that guy so what I'm saying is...
Yeah, because he's the right one
for her. Right, so I'm saying it's a one-sided thing.
Right, but understand that men, like you said, they're not objects. They have their own thing that they want. Right. And I don't know, I guess in that sense you just enjoy it for what it is.
Right, you gotta enjoy it for what it is, but also you have...
And remember, you didn't waste your time. Right. Like, you had some really good times with him, and maybe you keep having good times with him, but understand it is what it is. Right,
but also with that guy, that's the part that women miss out on, and this is why it messes up. What they'll do is they'll say, oh, this guy's just trying to have sex with me, and so, even if let's say they did have sex with them, or they didn't have sex with them, whatever, because they feel, oh, he just wants sex. And not even that they know, they feel this. It's not like he just said they feel this. So It's one thing if a guy just said, hey, I just want to have sex. But sometimes a guy just is chilling and she feels this is how he wants.
Okay.
So then she ends up, like, backing away from him because she's scared of getting hurt.
Yeah.
But if she would have stayed with him, he could have been the guy who wanted to actually continue seeing her and who could have been her boyfriend. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Does that really happen?
Yes.
Like, women will be flexible if they find someone that they like that much. They'll be flexible with it.
No, but this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in their mind, just like how we said, you be on Tinder, you say, oh, this guy looks like a narcissist. This guy looks like this. They get the feeling for whatever reason, and then they make their decisions based off the feeling versus based off of what's actually happening. So what I'm saying is that they could be dismissing a guy who could have potentially been their boyfriend, who they could have had a good time with, because they were in this, I need a serious relationship right now. I can't, and this is what the serious relationship means, and you have to be this way and that way. If you're not this way and that way, then we can't do anything.
Can't even talk.
Right. And then so she gets rid of a guy who at the moment was just having fun and hooking up with her, and she could have been the guy who turned into the guy who was a boyfriend, because again, men aren't going into dating saying, oh, I'm looking to get a girlfriend. Like, there's some guys who do say that, but usually the guys who do say that are the guys who don't really have that much experience with women, and also those are the guys who most women don't like anyway.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, what a weird dynamic we have.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So the women, and this is my advice for women who want a serious relationship.
And are super picky about it.
Yes. Stop being picky and start going with the flow. It's really that simple. Because if you stop being picky, you're going to have way more options to engage in. And if you go with the flow is usually the thing that brings you the guy who wants to get with you. Because the guy who wants to get with you is only, or generally usually revealed through the time you're spending with him while you're going with the flow.
Right.
Because no guy is coming up to you saying, yo, hey, I matched with you on Tinder because I'm looking for a serious relationship. Like,
with you.
With you, exactly, right.
Sometimes they say I'm looking for a serious relationship.
Right, but it
doesn't mean they want it with you.
Exactly, right. And that's what I'm saying. And this is why you have to stop being picky, go with the flow, date a lot of different guys so that you'll end up finding a guy who wants the same thing you want. And then once that happens, with you, and then it'll go down. But you can't, from the jump, on the outside looking in, saying, oh, I just want this and I expect you to give me this thing because I want it from you. That's super one-sided. You see what I'm saying? You can't do it like that. It has to be a mutual agreement on you and the guy's side, and usually the guy will start to think of you in that manner based off of him spending sexual and non-sexual time with you. So you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't want anything casual, because sometimes the casual leads to the actual long term. But you can't come with just the long term and expect, it's just like anything else. You can't go into a job saying, I expect to be vice president of this company.
Right.
You have to,
next semester.
right. Yeah. You have to work your way up.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? You can't just, you can't be like overweight and then just walk into the gym and be like, well, I expect to be, I don't want to have to work out. I just want my body to be fit in 2 days by just running on the treadmill for 10 minutes. That's how women sound when they say, I'm not trying to casually date. You have no choice but to casually date. Do you understand that? You have no choice.
That's how you get it.
Right.
That's how it happens.
Oh, man. Like, seriously.
And be okay with that.
Right. Like, you're not, like, that's like saying, oh, I want to, have $1 million business, but I don't want to have to do all the work to get there. Like, you can't, it's impossible.
So you do the work.
Right.
But do everything you can to feel self-confident and comfortable and just make the most of it, right?
Right.
Like, okay, I went out on a date. It wasn't true love, but we had some good drinks and we had some good conversation, and it's
you know what it is? Truthfully, can I keep it real? Women
I don't know, Mr. Licari.
most women are just lazy. That's really all it is.
Most people are lazy.
No, but women are really lazy when it comes
men
to.
are really lazy too.
No. Men will climb over mountains to have sex with a woman. Women, and this is just sex, right? Women want more than sex, and y'all won't even do half the shit men will do to get sex. For y'all to get.
We do a lot of emotional work.
Like how?
I'm saying, like, men are physical, women are emotional.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is.
So you're saying I
But
no. But
what emotional work are you doing within the context of making something happen with a man. The emotional
I'm
work.
ready to tell you.
Go ahead.
Okay. 1, we have to put aside the fact that we think he might break our hearts, right? We have to put aside the fact that we don't like the kind of clothes he wears, right? We have to reassess for ourselves how we feel about previous relationships, times that we have been hurt, right? We have to stay centered and comfortable in who we are, even though we might get rejected. This is a lot of emotional work for a woman. We need to stay hopeful that we can still get what we want, even though men tend to approach dating so much differently. And if we say, hey, I really like you, I want to have a long-term relationship with you on the first date, we might get rejected just for saying that, right? So being true to what we want, but not necessarily being as upfront about it. All of these things, there's a lot of emotional work. Just showing up to a date is a lot of work.
No, it's not.
A lot of emotional work, right? You have to mentally and physically, psychologically prepare yourself.
For what?
And then you have to be there on time. It's a lot of work.
Why is it so hard to be somewhere on time?
Because you have to go through that whole emotional roller coaster, and you have to look pretty, and you have to physically be there. That's a lot of work.
Well, with that being said, why aren't women like handling that?
Because it's a lot of work. And so we're trying to find ways to make it more doable, right? And so for some women, okay, I can make this more doable by limiting who I match with, like my girlfriend. She only matches with, like, a few guys, right?
But that's making it harder for you because it's making more
But the way
work for you
she
to do.
sees it is she's making it easier.
But that's not making it easier.
Okay.
Because this is what I'm saying. Because you can say all that emotional work and all this other stuff, which I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm disagreeing on part. I'm disagreeing partly with it by saying that that's work that should have at this point, if you're a grown woman, have been like somewhat something you should be always working on, and it's like something that should have been worked on already. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, emotions are a thing. I mean,
No, I'm not saying
worked on already.
No. What I'm saying is that you should at some point be at a level in the game, in this dating game, to understand yourself to the point where you will like where you can understand yourself to the point where okay, well, look, I'm gonna be sort of nervous to go on this date. So how do I handle that? I might be late. What are the things I can do to make sure I'm not late?
Right.
I noticed that I'm being extremely picky with these guys. What can I do to
And
stop
needy
being
with
picky?
some of
Right.
them.
This is what I'm saying. So I understand that it's work to be done, but what are the things you're doing to make this work easier for you to handle in order for you to get the results you want?
Are you what do you mean?
Like what
Are you asking for advice? Like, what do I advise women to do?
No,
Because I do have advice
No, that's what I'm saying.
what you can do.
Right. So
to
that's what I'm
help
saying.
yourself with that.
That's what I'm saying. What are you doing to make it happen, like more beneficial for you? That's what I'm saying. Because like you're saying, I understand it's the work, but see, I'll give you an example for guys. Guys know that there's work to do when it comes to getting women.
Yeah.
Right.
All the fucking work.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we know we got to talk to 25 girls a day to try to get one. You feel what I'm saying? We know that we're gonna have to deal with women who flake, and then have to emotionally deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, a guy who wants to be successful at getting women understands he has to do certain things to make it happen. So my question for the women is, even though you have this emotional work to do, are you doing it, and are you attacking that work? Or are you using that as an excuse as to why you are not getting what you need?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Fair
And that's-
enough.
And that's what I meant by women are lazy
But
because y'all don't
can I
want to do
give
it.
some advice on how to how to approach it?
Yeah.
And how to get what you need?
Yeah.
This is like these are some things I do. I mean, one of the things I do is I find ways to ground myself emotionally. I figure out how long it's going to take me to get to a date, and I try to make sure I'm scheduling that in, and then I give myself an hour or whatever I need to get ready for the date. So I'm like really careful about the timing as much as I can be. I do my best to be emotionally grounded. I'm communicative about what I'm looking for with myself and with men that I date. I lift weights. And I take care of myself, like, physically.
Yeah.
So I eat healthy and I drink water. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that I do to help me. And I feel like it just helps me in general, but
Yeah.
it helps me in dating, too.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. Look, at the end of the day, look, if women want things to happen, they have to understand that they got to do a lot on their part in order to make it happen. And part of doing the things they need to do is really understanding guys, because the fact that a woman would say, "I don't want to date casually, and I'm looking for some long-term shit," that means you don't understand men. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And so therefore you're not going to get what you want because you don't even understand what you do. So this is what I'm saying, like,
Right, understand what you're dealing with. Who
right.
You're dealing
That's
with,
what you got to say, because it's like someone saying, "Yo, I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to have to go to medical school." You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to deal with the medical school part. I just want to be the doctor. I'm just ready for a doctor situation right now. And it's like, dude, you don't understand the process that it takes to become a doctor. You don't understand the process it takes to be someone's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you just think you're gonna just get it because you want it. It don't work that way.
Didn't you write a book about this?
Of course, it's called "It's Your Fault You're Single." Tips on finding Mr. Right. Go to MissLocaria.com to get the book.
But I'm a woman. Why should I should just have it?
Exactly. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we're done.